lot of people have, with really different perspectives on it all, have this basically aesthetic relationship to the idea of like the working class, that like the working class to them is like, you know, men in hard hats and like lunch pails,
dirty-faced miners.
yeah, exactly, right. And it's like, you know, I think that that's a much less useful way of relating to that concept than you know, than like a structural relationship, you know, to the means of production. And this thing about, you know, this thing about baristas really gets to that that I think at some point over the course of the debate, I'd said something, I don't remember exactly, but about like probably I said, hey, it's good for all these Starbucks that are, you know, these hundreds of unionized Starbucks, you know, organizing, that Trump's National Labor Relations Board isn't still there, you know, because they were very, very aggressive about, you know, finding excuses to rule against unions and clamp down on unions as well. You know, baristas, he's got this whole strange theory about why baristas don't count, which now I should say I am watching this for the first time. I'm not what, you know, Andy threw himself on the sword here and watched all 4 hours of it and extracted a couple of clips for us. We all salute him for his service, but
then a hero comes along.
I'm not watching any of this twice, right? But I believe in the second clip we're getting some of the Haas theory of baristas.
Thank you so much, Diogenes.
Nothing funnier than a Fabian Marxist claiming MAGA communism is incoherent. Then Burgis completely was totally coping about productive laborers overwhelmingly supporting Trump.
No, the Starbucks coffee beans are productive. What are you talking about? Starbucks coffee, Starbucks! When the revolution is over, we're going to make all the infracells be sex slave baristas. We're totally not deranged, sick psychopaths. We're totally not upholding a modern version of slavery. We're totally not a bunch of fucking porn addicts. The fuck? Like, infrared people are saying, we want to destroy bullshit jobs, give people free time, and only have dignified manual labor. And
this is my first time watching live and doing a super chat. Salam alaikum, and you're my inspiration as an ML Twitch streamer. Love you, big eyes.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you so much, comrade. Appreciate you.
Using the Q&A to continue debating was based on genius. Load of people saw it as trolling, but it was very tactical, hilarious, but effective. Based.
Yeah, I always do that. I notice I always do that. Thank you, MIG. But, yeah, you guys want to notice something? Our meme is we're going to make you work the land bridge, which is not really humiliating. It's just, it's humbling. It's good, humbling work. But their meme is they're going to make us be baristas. It's kind of got like a lot of rape vibes, if you ask me, because it's almost like, it's like, oh, you have to do services for us. That's like one step removed from sex slavery. You know what I mean? So it's like they have really creepy, disgusting, horrific, psychopath. Like ours is you're going to have to work on the land bridge and what? Learn a good work ethic and develop good morals. And theirs is, oh, you're going to have to put on a dress and serve me coffee and be my servant. What? So their vision of socialism is one step removed away from sex slavery, a really disgusting rapist fantasy, and ours is the rule of labor and dignified work. It says a lot about character, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of sick fucks. Sick fucks.
I mean, that dude takes straw man to the next level, but I mean, at some point, I think what really makes this whole thing really comical is the fact that these people do this shit where they're never going to have to face you. And maybe I'm going to sound like an old man, you know, yelling at clouds, but there's something to be said about the fact that they're just so afraid of actual confrontation, because when you're actually in front of somebody, the nature of the way you talk to them changes, and you don't have that same bravado when there's no one around. And I'm not saying like, let's go beat the guy up. I'm just saying, I don't think he would ever say that if he was in a real, like that debate wouldn't have happened in a real debate setting,
Right.
with an actual moderator. They would have stopped the ad hominem attacks. They would have stopped the yelling, and he probably just would have been stuck and went home. He probably would have left.
For many reasons, yes, I think that's right. But they have also. I just want to linger for a second on how because Starbucks is the service industry, and if you're doing services to people for people, that's one step removed from prostitution, I think is the claim. So
He's never sucked a dick for money, huh?
I mean, that sounds like maybe several steps.
Hey, you want to piss me off? Tell me that something you do is like prostitution. It's like, you ever had to suck a dick? It sure does. It's not fun. I don't know too many people that are just fucking standing in line to do that job.
Yeah,
comparing serving coffee to, maybe getting assaulted because you're going to work, real different.
Yeah.
Again, you can't say that shit to somebody's face, and you can't even think to say something that ridiculous to someone's face.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like that I have in fact, guess I've never worked at a Starbucks. I used to work at Panera.
Was it like prostitution?
I don't, I haven't done that, but my understanding of prostitution, I think it's fairly different. I would like, there are a lot of people I don't like very much that like, that it's like, if they came over my house, I'd make them a cup of coffee. That's
Get a dress?
I wouldn't necessarily wear the dress, but I'd make him a cup of coffee. I'm also pretty sure you're allowed to wear pants if you work at Starbucks, but but yeah, I think that's like I actually do not, in fact, think that I mean, obviously nobody wants to force anybody to work at Starbucks, but I think sex slavery would be worse than that. I'm gonna take a stand, and
you can only say stuff like that if you've never ever seen what it looks like when people are really in that industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can only talk that way. If you listen to that whole conversation, this is why I can't take people like that seriously. It's like, look, man, you're in fantasy land. Everybody watching you right now is in fantasy land. They are stuck in that video game world that you guys all come out of. That's why you're on Twitch. It's video game world, and you're talking about this fake reality that's about to come when. We were just talking about Revolution earlier today at the coffee shop. We were talking about that documentary that Netflix did about Waco.
Yeah.
And for those that haven't watched it, there's an interesting documentary. I think I've hit my limit with true crime on this one. And the ATF is like, we found out there was 1 million rounds of ammunition in there and so many thousands of guns. And we know we had to get in there and stop these people because they had 1 million rounds of ammunition. 1 million rounds of ammunition did not prevent those people from getting outflanked and destroyed by the state. Destroyed. Yeah. And this jackass is talking about revolution because he's got some flea market swords stuck to his wall. Can't take people like that seriously because they're not serious people.
Yeah.
Well, I used to live near Waco when that happened. So,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was for me. I mean, like,
1 million rounds of ammunition. That was their whole thing. Watch it. 3 parts. Every part they go, there was 1 million rounds. They didn't give a good goddamn about 1 million rounds. They were ready to shove 1 million rounds right up the rectum of David Koresh. The state did not care. When they found out they had 50 cal rounds, what did they do? They brought in tanks that 50 cal rounds wouldn't go through.
Yeah. I mean, I think that yes, you're not gonna like I mean, there's this sort of insane fantasy that is mostly a right-wing delusion, but like there are definitely leftists who share in it, that like if you're like a amateur gun enthusiast, that push came to shove, you'd be able to defeat the most deadly military machine in the history of the world, which is the American state.
Dude, you know what, Ben? The other night I watched fucking Death Wish 4 for like the 15th time. And Charles Bronson's ability to make bombs, infiltrate crime syndicates, jump out of second-story windows,
right?
Huh?
That's the one where Danny Trejo gets wet and explodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the one where Danny Trejo plays an Italian as well. And it's like there's a fantasy between that kind of shit and Red Dawn that, that's what resistance looks like. It's really just that simple. It's like, dude, why do you think that? There's literal examples of what happens when people kind of sort of attempt.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot. It's not nearly as heartwarming as the Wolverines. You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive postgames on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.